Yo guys, Coach Theo here on Common Sense. We're at the brink of a new year and New Year's resolutions. New year, new me, right? And so today I'm going to tell you everything you need to do to finally and actually get in shape in 2024 so that you can get a result like this. My literal 1-year transformation. The first post I ever posted on Instagram 4.5 years ago now, I guess. So yes, a lot can happen in 1 year. It's just that most people don't make it far enough. They start and stop. You know, that's a typical thing here. Yeah, in January, that's when I'm going to do it. I'm finally going to start doing this, this, and this, and I'm finally going to change. And then, as soon as January is over, so is their attempt to make any actual change. And this might be a cycle that goes on for years. And so, before I get into the actual concrete things you should be focusing on, I want to say you need to focus on balance, okay? Like, yes, you're going to have to challenge yourself. You're going to have to invest in yourself. You're going to have to be disciplined and push yourself. Like, changing yourself, getting somewhere you haven't been before, it takes effort. It takes pushing yourself and challenging yourself. It's just that you need to do it on a level that you actually can take on. That's what a lot of people do wrong. When they start, they think they need to be doing all these things, and maybe they can, you know, when they start, because it's like, yeah, it's time, I start. And they go to the gym a certain amount of time, go on some kind of, I'm eating only salads, I'm hitting the gym every day. And then when they fail to do that, as most people inevitably will when they bite off more than they can chew, it's kind of like, oh no, I failed again. Oh, if I can't stick to this, then I might as well give up. And then this pattern is going to repeat itself. So look, rather than thinking of being a hurry, how big steps can I take towards my goals? It's like, no, how can I keep taking steps towards my goal? Set the bar lower than you think you could so that you can stick with it for long enough and then build upon that. Okay, so the first thing you should be doing is you need to have a workout plan, okay, a set plan that could look, depending on if you're already going to the gym and that could look a little different. But the point is, you need to know, I'm going to the gym this often, at these times of the day, and these are the things I'm doing. You need some kind of program. So you could, depending on your knowledge or training, you could create one on your own, or you could invest and buy a program. But the point is, you need to have something to go for that's actually realistic, that you could go for. And this is something you should be doing even if you think that you're so, I don't really care about muscle and strength, no, that's not really my thing. Well, it is important for your health, and even if weight loss would be your main priority, building muscle will help you with that. The muscle that you build will eat fat. It raises your metabolism. It's actually, long term, it's a better weight loss strategy to put on muscle than to just do a bunch of cardio. So it would look a little different, again, depending on how often you go to the gym and that. But what you should be focusing on forever, compound exercises, so different presses like bench presses, shoulder presses, push-ups, dips, pull-ups, chin-ups, different pulls, or lat pull-downs, rows, and squats, deadlifts. This should be the major focus in your program. But then you have isolation exercise or secondary exercises, you know, curls, little triceps push-ups, lateral raises, leg extensions, easier squat variations, stuff like this. And then you should be hitting every muscle twice per week as a good goal. So that if you're someone that does full body but goes twice per week, that works. But you could be someone that does upper lower split and go 4 times, so you're still hitting everything twice. It's just a good goal. It could be different at everybody, it's a good goal. And then you need to be applying progressive overload. You need, whatever you do, you need to be challenging yourself more over time. In the gym, that would most of the time mean adding weight or reps that you do with the same weight. And then you, of course, as we talked about, if you start out going twice per week, at some point you might want to progress and add workouts to your week. But the point is, you have to have something to go for. Okay, not like I'm gonna start training, I go every day, or I'm just gonna start going to the gym. Okay, start going to the gym, but know exactly what that will look like. Okay, In the same way, you need a nutrition plan. You need to have a set meal structure. You need to know when am I eating and what am I eating. So you should create a pool of some healthy meals. Some meals that you enjoy that consists of healthy foods. So what a typical healthy good meal would look like is some kind of protein source. That's the most important thing. Whether your goal is to put on muscle or lose weight. Because protein, it will support the muscle growth, of course, but it's also the most satiating macronutrient. Focusing on protein will just make it easier to stay satiated, make you happy with the foods you eat, reduce cravings, or rather also, cravings might be the only thing you struggle with and not actual hunger, okay? So a typical healthy meal should have some protein source, some red meat, steak, chicken, eggs, a fish, something like this. Some carb source, so rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes would be good choices, and some fruits and or vegetables on the sides. And I'll tell you a little secret. Most vegetables, they're kind of overrated. They're not necessarily bad, but they just aren't all that nutritious. Actually, in the meat and eggs there is where you find a lot of nutrition apart from the calories, the energy, micronutrients. But there are good vegetables, and but you see, pick vegetables you enjoy and that work well with your gut and everything. And so yeah, like I said, you should focus on protein. People don't realize, but because protein is so associated with just fitness and building muscle, like a bodybuilding style, which of course is something I'm into and want you to be into too, but that's it's important for everyone. It's just a very good strategy to focus on protein when you go about your nutrition. And then you should know your macros. Look, some people are like, oh, I don't want to count calories and that. The goal is not that you should be able to or should have to necessarily do that forever. But if you have no idea what your caloric needs are now, how will you be able to adjust according to your goals? Right? Whether that is that you have too much fat and you want to lose it, or that you're super skinny and you want to get bigger, you should be looking. You should know how much you should eat. The protein is going to be very important, but your overall intake is going to be very important as well. So yeah, here again, you just have to have something to go for. Not this like, oh, I'm eating more salads. Well, no, when can you eat? What does your days look like? Okay, what is a structure of eating that that makes sense with your life? That you then have these meals. That do you need to prepare them? Do you need to food prep? Whatever you need to do to be able to stick to a good nutrition plan. Sleep is something you should be improving. It's just so important for literally everything. All kinds of recovery in your body, energy, like even a thing like cravings. If you sleep worse, you're more likely to not be able to stick to your diet, and just life quality. If you prioritize getting good sleep, your just awake time will be higher quality. So you should be getting, as a good rule of thumb, closer to 8 rather, but 6 to 8 hours on some kind of average, and you should go to sleep before 10 p.m. It's very established in the sleep science that going to sleep before midnight, those couple 2 hours there before midnight, are the way they put it on is they are worth twice as much. So yes, it should be a good goal. This all depends on your life. I mean, do what you have to do according to your job and that. But if it is an adjustment that you can do, you should do it. And so if you find, oh, but I can't get to sleep, I can't go to sleep until after midnight or whatever, well, then you have to like put an alarm clock at the time. Let's say it would be at 6. And you go to sleep. Yeah, so if you went to sleep at 10, you would get 8 hours of sleep. Well, before you can go to sleep at 10, you have to push yourself to go up, and eventually your need for sleep will catch up and you will be able to go to sleep sooner. And yeah, this will just improve everything for you. Next thing is having some kind of step goal, like 10k steps, 10,000 steps is a good goal for a lot of people, but it doesn't have to be steps, that's just an easy way to accomplish what is really just more activity, less being sedentary throughout your days. So what you can do if you're someone, let's say you're a family person and you have an office job and it's just hard to find the time for these long walks. Well, if you can take like little exercise snacks throughout your workday, you can just get up and move, do a little bit of air squats or little push-ups, like literally it's something that doesn't have to be intense exercise in the, you know, that you might be doing when you actually go and hit workouts in the gym. This will, it's, you know, walking, if we get back to that, it's such a low effort activity with a good return on investment. It is good for your heart to walk, even if you're not walking super fast or anything. And it is good for recovery, but also for your energy expenditure, that you just move more, makes you a machine that uses more energy. And again, it would just be easier to lose weight if that's your goal, to maintain weight, or to not gain too much weight if you were someone that's bulking to put on muscle, right? So 10K steps, a good goal. What you also can do is take Stan Efferding's rule of 3 10-minute walks per day. That would be a 10-minute walk in the morning and middle of the day and evening, typically, you know, because a little bit, just like how a car spends more fuel when you like drive in the city and you stop and go and stop and go, compared to when you're just moving ahead at a constant speed. As human beings are a little bit the same. It's not that you don't burn, longer walks aren't good or anything, but spreading it out throughout the day so that your body just never goes into complete sedentary mode. Like if you're sitting for a super long amount of time. The point with all these things I'm talking about is you should strive to get just higher activity that doesn't have to be high intensity, and it's a good goal to try to spread it out throughout the day if you can, but longer walks are great as well. Something else you should have is an introspective practice. So something like meditation, journaling, or just conversation with either friends that are looking to develop themselves too. It could be someone like a therapist. You know, therapy, it's not something you should go to think that it will just cure your depression magically. No, it is a tool, you know. Like that could be something, like it's just useful to talk about yourself, what you notice about yourself, and someone that guides you through that conversation and is interested too. So, you know, that could be something, but you don't have to see if you have good people in your life to just be talking with. But the point is, you need to be looking at yourself and analyzing yourself. Because, you know, a lot of people would approach, oh yeah, I always start and stop with training. I always start and stop with weight loss. And it's kind of like, but why though? Why? It's like, no, that's just the way I am. No, it's not. It's your current way of functioning, but that can be changed. You became that way somehow, and you can, the more you figure out how you, like your mechanism, how you work, where they come from, the more you'll be able to see what you'll do to change that, you know. It's like, oh, no, I always end up binging at some point when I diet. Now, why? Why do you do that? When do you binge? Well, it's when I'm feeling sad. And why do you do that? Well, I think that's what I used to do when I was a kid. When my parents, you know, I had fights with my parents, I sought comfort in food. Okay, so we know now that it comes from something, and it's comfort you're looking for. Is there any, can you somehow remove the situations or reduce that make you feel this way? Or when you feel that way, can you find something else that will make you comfort? You see, I'm just going off with some kind of example, but this is the whole thing. You have to understand, you have to know thyself. You have to know thyself and see where you're coming from so that you can be moving to somewhere else. And so this comes back to everything, what I said at the start. Skip the perfectionism, go for progression. While you need something to go for that's realistic, it's not realistic still to think that you'll be able to be perfect all the time. Something might come up that's outside of your control, so you miss a workout. There are gonna be times you're tempted by something else, you know, you're offered something that you know shouldn't be eating according to your diet, at your job, for instance. And you're just not able to be perfect, and that's okay. That's okay. Like it's about progression. We have set this structure that we aim for, that we think is reasonable, and it will be most of the time. But then you have to allow yourself not make excuses. Again, have this introspection, realize where is my weaknesses? Why did I do that? How can I avoid that? But allow yourself to not be perfect and just work on improving. Work on improving. Like that's why I preach holistic bodybuilding. You can be very interested. I think it's fun to build a jacked physique and just think that's cool and fun. But it can be so much of a bigger practice when you observe yourself and see that, like, how progression in the work. Progression in the gym works. You can understand how progression, what it must look like in your life as well. It's not always linear. The trend over time should be linear, like when you zoom out and see, but it's gonna be little bumps in the road, and that's okay. And then the more you go on with this, the more perfect you're able to be, but you never be perfect. And that should be relaxing. Many of us, we have this inner perfectionist that is really our enemy, because, we get in our own way. We think we need to be so fucking perfect. We don't, really. And focus on the process, not the result, okay? Because it's the same, when you are very results oriented, that's when you might overexert yourself. It's also when you might be, I couldn't be perfect, I never get my result, I might as well not go for it. But the more you can focus on, okay, these things that I need, I just gotta make sure these things happen in a reasonable way, and when they don't, I don't beat myself up. I just gotta make sure they keep going. And the more you find yourself focusing on the process and the little micro improvements that you see in the gym, with your diet, with just your habits, the closer and closer you get to the result. And before you know it, it's when you focus here, instead of looking at the result over there, you focus on the road ahead of you. All of a sudden you look up and like, I'm here, So yes, and the good news is you can do all of this on your own, but I am a coach. I have programs when I do set this structure for you, and of course, and a little looking for that Swedish ball plank, someone to throw the ball with, and come up with adjustments as you go, and evaluate if something isn't working or when it's time to change it up and all that. So it's of course very helpful. Get the structure, someone connected into your process, that external accountability. So if you're interested in coaching for 2024, you can reach me on Instagram or email. It's all in the description below, and I'll tell you about my different options for that. But basically everything I talked about here, well, I'm not gonna give you a sleep program, but I might talk about strategies with sleep for you, and I might be someone that helps with these little introspective tools and mindset tools. But then, of course, the workout and nutrition plan. So, you can reach me there. Please like and comment. All comments it will help support the channel, helps more people find their way here, so it's very much appreciated. Consider becoming a member and supporting me and my content. Yes, that's all. It's very much appreciated. And please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, stoicism, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It is a mindset, guys. Start doing something that you can actually stick to and improve from there, rather than think you're going to start here and then just crash and be stuck in that cycle. Let's go all the way this time. Okay, peace.